Alright, before we start the video, I just want to say thanks to ShazamBlast for all the drawings and all the gifts. Really, I appreciate it. I love them. They're awesome drawings, and they help express certain emotions that I can't exactly do because I don't want to show my face, you know? I really do love it, and it kind of gives the channel a sense of individuality. You know, it kind of sets it apart a little bit. So I love it. Keep up the good work. Hopefully we'll be able to do the business, I suppose. Hopefully I'll commission you for more, and you know, keep up the good work, ShazamBlast. Don't check out their Twitter, their Twitch, and their YouTube as well. I'll be linking ShazamBlast's social media. All right, let's get this started. This is already pretty embarrassing. I forgot to link them in the previous outro slides. This is embarrassing. Hey everyone, it's me, the one and only. Today I thought I'd tackle something other than comics and go over Dragon Ball. Now I know some kid is gonna say, stick to comic books, you neckbeard. Don't touch anime, don't touch manga, especially not Dragon Ball Super. Don't touch it, don't even look at it. And to that, man, all I have to say is I wish I had a beard. I would even compromise and get a neck beard, man, because this face does not grow hair at all. It doesn't grow any hair whatsoever. I'm like those Play-Doh toys where you put the Play-Doh in the head, you squeeze it and the hair comes out, except all the hair, just flip it upside down. I'm not getting any more descriptive than that. One of the topics recently going around in Dragon Ball is the concept of gods and mortals, which has been going on for, you know, the past 4 arcs of Dragon Ball Super, and has introduced it has introduced us to new Supreme Kais, new gods of destruction, and the god of everything Zeno, his attendants, the Grand Priest, and the angels. So, in order to help clear the air, I decided to create a video breaking down the rankings, titles, and different gods in the Dragon Ball multiverse. By the way, I will be covering Dragon Ball Super, so be wary of spoilers, everybody. Also, if by the end of the video you guys want to learn more about Kais and the god hierarchy, go check out Kaioshin Curt's channel, whose knowledge of this stuff is much better than I am. I'm just some schmuck talking about this stuff, but this guy's name is called Kaioshin Curt. Come on, he has credibility behind his name. Alright, let's get her going because we have a lot of ground to cover. First debuting in manga chapter 164, Kami was introduced as a guardian of Earth. His name translates to God in Japanese and was the god of the Dragon Ball universe for a majority of the time. Kami was a Namekian with no name when he arrived on Earth sometime between age 242 and 461. He spent a large portion of his life in Yanzabit Heights, where he lived his life in seclusion. At some other point, he traveled to meet the Guardian of Earth of that time and trained to become the next Guardian if the current one were to die. However, this would not happen without a few problems down the road. The current Guardian of Earth sensed evil in the Namekian's heart and eventually managed to separate himself from his evil counterpart. This evil counterpart called himself King Piccolo, and the other half called himself Kami. The evil half went out into the world and caused havoc with his children, but his rampage was stopped by Master Mutaito, who sealed him away using the Mafuba. After this happened, Kami created the Dragon Balls in order to give others hope. For the longest time, he was considered a god, even though he's not necessarily a deity. He's more of just a guardian, but I figured I'd add him because it's OG stuff, man. You can't go wrong with OG stuff. King Yemma was introduced in the Dragon Ball manga, chapter 205, and goes by the name King Yemma, or Lord Enma, or Enma Dio, depending on whichever dub you want to call him by. He is the judge of the dead, and is the one who gets to decide who goes to heaven or hell. Up until that point, he was the only one to have crossed Snake Way, and he's believed to have some sort of skill at fighting, seeing as how he easily overpowered Raditz. Which, now that I think about it, it's not that much of an accomplishment.
Oh, hey, King Kai.
King Kai, Kaiosama, North Kai, or Kaio, was introduced in Dragon Ball manga chapter 205 and is the king of the north area of Universe 7. I mean, I guess it's not really a king, more of like, not really a king, because there's like 10 other kings in the Dragon Ball universe. Whatever. Let's not get into specifics, okay? Toriyama didn't plan any of this out ahead. Let's just deal with it. Let's not look too much into it, guys. He lives on his own little planet on the end of Snake Way with his pet Bubbles and Gregory, and is the mentor of most of the Z Fighters. In age 451, it's presumed that while visiting King Kai Beerus, god of destruction, lost the game and destroyed his planet. From this, King Kai grabbed a portion of the blown up planet and forged it into a little planet. He's one of 4 Kais of Universe 7, the other are known as the West, East, and South Kais. Now, there is the Grand Kai, but was only introduced in the anime and movies, which we know are non-canonical because they're not mentioned in Toriyama's original work. So before we get into an argument about what's canon, what's non-canonical, let's just kind of meet a mutual ground that everything not created by Toriyama is non-canonical. So you might be asking yourself, what about the anime and manga for Dragon Ball Super? Well, those are their own 2 continuities. Which is something that's kind of strange and something that's always been, you know, kind of a thing in Dragon Ball, where it's like the manga and the anime are their own separate entities. You can't exactly say, oh, this happened in the anime, so it has to happen in the manga. It's like, no. So let's just calm down. All right, let's just take a deep breath and keep going with the video, please. Moving up higher on the list, we have Supreme Kai Kaioshin Shin, or East Supreme Kai, and he was introduced in Dragon Ball Chapter 437. He is the Grand Supreme Kai of Universe 7, now that the Supreme Kais of other quadrants were killed by Majin Buu. Now that those Kais died, the only ones left are Elder Kai and Kibito, apprentice to the Supreme Kai. Kibito is the apprentice, not Elder Kai. Supreme Kai has the ability of instant transmission even better than Goku's, and displays quite a bit of power. If I were to power scale him, I'd say he'd land somewhere around, let's see, I'd say second form Cell and Super Saiyan Grade 3. I'd say he lands somewhere around there because Goku mentioned something about Dabura being as strong as perfect or super perfect Cell. I have to remember on that. I have to look back to it. But he states that, right? And Supreme Kai doesn't stand a chance against him, and there's a really, really big power gap between Cell second form and perfect Cell and super perfect Cell. They're really, really big margins of power. So yeah, I'd assume he lands somewhere right there. I'm getting a disturbance. I feel like someone's getting mad over power scaling. Supreme Kai, while not having much history prior to his introduction, has had lots of screen time due to his ability to stay put and not meddle in mortal affairs. This is one of the reasons why Beerus finds him so troubling, because of the... wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Next. Now we know that there are 12 gods of destruction, 1 for each universe, and each god shares a link with their respective Kais, which is what I was going to mention this right now, but, you know, we have to move on to the next section first. If the Supreme Kai dies, so does the god of destruction, hence why Beerus wasn't around for the future Trunks arc, because Supreme Kai died against Dabura or Bibidi, one of the two. I forget who exactly killed him, but point is, he died there. However, if a god of destruction dies, the Supreme Kai lives, but their attendant or angel becomes inactive for lack of information about actually knowing what happens. I said this because it was stated before that the angel was going to disappear. But now that one died now that Universe 9 died in the Tournament of Power, their angel is still there. In fact, he's looking pretty nefarious and quite assholey. So he's still there. So now we're assuming that he's the angels remain inactive rather than dead. The gods of destruction are also known as Kaioshin in the Japanese version of Dragon Ball, which translates to destruction god. Despite their names, however, they're not actually evil. They are portrayed more as forces of nature, hence the idea that Kais create life and Kaioshin destroy it. It creates a balance in the universe. Well, I mean, sort of a balance anyway, I guess, unless you're, you know, including Frieza and Buu and, you know, any potentially Earth. You know what? I don't think there's quite of a balance. Let's just pretend there's a balance there for sake of clarity. But despite their titles of God, they are capable of dying. Because of this, their angels will seek out potential candidates to replace the God of Destruction. And it's quite evident that there aren't a whole lot of candidates. I mean, the only candidates that we've seen so far are Vegeta and Goku and Toppo for Universe 11. We also haven't seen many techniques of the gods, mostly because they were just introduced, but it is important to note that all the gods possess a move called Kai, which is a highly powerful purple ball of energy capable of destroying anything it touches. It is a move that is also able to be lended to other beings, but because it's a small portion of the god's power, it can be blocked, but only by beings with immense power, or, you know, immense plot armor. funny enough, this is the second time we've seen something like this in Dragon Ball. The first being the Spirit Bomb. I wonder if that was done intentionally, because the Hakai energy is meant to destroy things. So is the Spirit Bomb, but the Spirit Bomb borrows energy from the surrounding area of the living beings, right? I wonder if that was done intentionally. I kind of see a connection there. I don't know if anyone else sees a connection, but I mean, that's just me. Not saying it's, you know, fact. I'm just saying, like, that's interesting.
Don't stop, we're in luck now. Don't stop, keep your...
Zeno is the lord of everything and the strongest being in the Dragon Ball multiverse, period. We know his power is capable of destroying entire universes with little effort, so we know he's about that strong. Despite this strength, however, he's merely a child. Because everyone treats him with so much respect and fear, he mostly just wants a playmate to destroy planets by flicking them with fingers. Yeah. No biggie. However, we don't know if he is capable of fighting or not. He could just be a powerhouse. I mean, it is possible. Bibidi was a lot like this. Bibidi had a lot of power, but he wasn't really a fighter. He was more of a, what was he, a magician or something that he called him? I forget. But he had strong amounts of power, but he didn't have any fighting abilities. Other than this, we don't know much about him right now, other than that before Dragon Ball, I think before Dragon Ball in general, there were 18 universes, and he destroyed 6 either because he was bored or because it was getting too crowded, something like that. Same goes for the Grand Priest. We know he's the 5th strongest fighter in the multiverse, which is saying something because the Grand Priest is pretty fucking strong. I don't understand who's stronger than the Grand Priest. What the hell? And we also know that he's the father of all angels in Dragon Ball. I imagine there's already a fan fiction on this, and I do not want to get into this. Jesus Christ. Alright everyone, that about wraps it up for this one. This was a lot easier to do, seeing as Dragon Ball is a lot more condensed and simple than comic books. Comic books usually have like 10 origin stories for one character, and with Dragon Ball it's just one continuous story, no matter how many plot holes there may be. Toriyama, listen man, I love you, appreciate you, but you gotta get your shit together, man. Come on, there's a lot of you have to get your shit together. There's a lot of plot threads you leave hanging open, and they kind of just, you leave the fans to decide it for you, and it just kind of becomes a giant fan fiction hodgepodge. And most of the time, it doesn't end up well. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, drop me a like. Go ahead, come on. You know you want to drop a like. Come on. 10,000 likes, 100,000 likes. You guys know you want to drop that like button. Come on, please. Drop a like, win a $100 gift card, win a house, win a car. Come on, you guys, come on. You want to do it. And if you want to stick around, go ahead and subscribe. I'm the amazing What's His Face, and I'll see you guys all later.